for exceptional vehicle care on South 27th, just north of 894.
Yeah, they all hurt. You just got to keep perspective. That's the biggest thing. Proud of our club, the way we battled through it and got ourselves in that position. We hit into 3 double plays, unluckily, with runners in scoring position, and usually people that don't hit into double plays. So, yeah, it's unfortunate. We had many opportunities to blow it open. But credit to the Tigers. One, they did what they needed to do. They hit homers off leverage relievers. Scubo's, he's really, really good.
Here's your host, Hunter Baumgardt.
Welcome in. We're talking Brewers for the next hour here on Fox Sports 920 in Milwaukee, and looking forward to kind of being your pregame show to our NFL draft coverage as well. The NFL draft begins at 7 o'clock, and we'll have coverage for you in less than an hour. Bill Schmid, Wayne Larrivee will be hosting our coverage, and so looking forward to that and kind of being their pregame show here this evening. But we're going to talk Brewers baseball. Oh, what a tough one today. You just heard Pat Murphy talk about it. We're going to hear his full post-game press conference coming up here in just a few minutes, because I think it's always good to hear his explanations for different things, his thoughts and his mood after a loss like today. So we are going to get into that here in just a little while. Good to have you along with us here. If you want to get in touch with the program, you can do so on YouTube, Facebook, or X. We're live on all 3 of those. Search Fox Sports Radio Wisconsin on YouTube. Would love to hear from you. Charles already chiming in before the show even started and just said, this one hurt today, ... It really did. The Brewers have had a few crushing losses so far this season. One of the Washington games, one of the Toronto games. We'll get into how many crushing losses they've had this year. Today might have been the worst, just because it was one where, you could look at it 2 ways. You could look at it as the worst one because you actually got to Tarek Skubal and you were able to get the lead late in the game and have 6 outs to go with the lead. Or you could say, well, I was expecting them to lose today anyway. So, the heck with it. So there's like 2 sides to that. The problem with I think how I feel, I think a lot of Brewers fans are feeling is they had it. They had this one. 4-3 in the 8th inning. If you missed it today, Blake Perkins, a game-tying 2-run double in the 7th to tie it at 3 off of Skubal. Then eventually Hamilton brings in the game-leading run to make it 4-3. The final tally on Tarek Skubal today is 6 innings and 4 earned runs on 7 hits. Yeah, your Milwaukee Brewers, 4 earned runs against Tarek Skubal today. But then Angel Serpa gave up a homer in the 8th. And then in the 9th, Spencer Torkelson with a walk-off homer off Abner Uribe. So that's the crushing part of today's loss. Is you had it, especially with where you sit with today and then tomorrow, because tomorrow you're facing Paul Skeens. So it does not get any easier. You're the second team in MLB history to face the reigning Cy Young Award winners in back-to-back days. Skubal today, Skeens tomorrow. You had him on the ropes, and you let him off. So that's the tough part about today. Now, the other part of today, and I just saw Mad City Brew come in with a comment here and want to hear from you on the NicoletLaw.com talking text line as well throughout the hour. But Mad City Brew says, well, now we know the Brewers don't have a true closer. Bullpen has lost at least 5 games this year. Yeah, the bullpen has not been as good as years past, and that is a problem. That is a glaring problem with the Milwaukee Brewers right now, and one that we're not used to. I mean, let's face it. This Brewers bullpen has been a strength for the better part of the last decade. There have been relievers of the year left and right, guys that have reinvented themselves on this roster and under the tutelage of Jim Henderson and Chris Hook and Matt Arnold getting them in and everything like that. Like everything with this bullpen over the last decade or so has been a lot of sunshine and roses. But now it's a lot of storm clouds for this bullpen, which is uncharted territory for us here in the last decade, and saying, Well, you don't have a closer, and now the second guy that you tried to make into the closer is not doing well. I mean, look at some of these stats. Angel Serpa has allowed a run in 5 of his last 7 outings. Abner Uribe has allowed a run in 3 of his last 6. Now, he had gone 3 straight scoreless outings heading into today, which was good. And you kind of thought, okay, Trevor McGill's turning the corner. Maybe Abner Uribe's turning the corner. And so I felt good heading into the 9th inning today with Abner Uribe. I'm not feeling good with Angel Serpa right now, which is tough because he started the year so hot. He looked great in the WBC. You thought, oh, man, the Brewers might have done it again. And they still might have. And I am not giving up on Angel Serpa on April 23rd. No, siree. But it is worrisome that he's scored upon in 5 of his last 7 outings. The good part, if you want to take a good out of the bullpen right now, obviously Grant Anderson has been really good out of the bullpen this year. Aaron Ashby has been really good, especially for how many times he's been called upon. But also Trevor McGill. Trevor McGill has not been scored upon in his last 4 outings, and he's only allowed 1 hit. Well, he gave up 1 run, but it wasn't earned. It was that extra inning run, the ghost runner at second base. So other than that, he has not given up a run. He struck out 5 batters, and he has not walked a single batter over those last 4 innings, 4 different days. The series finale against Toronto, the extra inning save against Miami, and a couple of times here in the Tigers series, one in that 6th inning, and then today in that 7th inning. And is it just me, or does he kind of look a little more relaxed out there when he's not out there in the 9th inning? Maybe it's because I'm more relaxed when he's not out there in the 9th inning. Whoever's out there in the 9th inning, I'm going to be less relaxed than in the 6th or 7th. But I just feel like it's a good way to get his groove back. The wild part about it is it flipped. Like after he had the tough night against Toronto, we thought, okay, probably going to take it. You know, Pat Murphy said he's not earning the closer role right now. And you kind of thought, okay, he's probably not going to be the closer. He's not going to probably be in high leverage right now. Well, then he comes back and he's in the 8th inning in a close ball game. And then he comes back and he's in a save situation in extra innings. So now in the last 2 games, it's been the 6th and 7th innings. So you would have thought maybe the 6th and 7th inning outings would have been last week. And then the 2 leverage outings would have been this week. But it's just how the cookie has crumbled. And maybe in a perfect world right now, you have McGill in the 7th, Serpa in the 8th, and Uribe in the 9th. Now, before McGill had the troubles to start the year, I think your perfect world was Serpa in the 7th, Uribe in the 8th, and McGill in the 9th. But since McGill has struggled in the 9th inning, they're kind of giving him some different experiences all over and trying to get him back, which so far in the last 4 outings has been dynamite with no runs allowed. So the Brewers are tied for 17th in reliever ERA this year. 17th. 4.36 ERA for that bullpen right now. And you think about where they were the last 2 years. And as I mentioned, really over the last decade or so, a strong part of the Milwaukee Brewers has been the bullpen. And for a lot of, for other years, it really wasn't. You go back further than a decade and you all know some of the names that came through that Brewers bullpen that unfortunately were not as good as some of the bullpens we've seen with the Josh Haders of the world and the Corey Knables and the Devin Williams and the Trevor McGills and the Abner Uribes and so many more unsung heroes within that as well. The Brad Boxbergers of the world. Claudio. I mean, you can go through guy after guy after guy. Jared Koenig in the last couple of years. But you compare the 4.36 ERA the Brewers have right now, and I get it. It's less than a month of games. So you have to keep that into perspective. We have a lot of season left. But last year, this team finished 6th in bullpen ERA at 3.63. Okay? Remember, this year's 4.36 is the ERA. Earned run average. Brewers were 2nd 2 years ago at 3.11 ERA. 3.11. 2nd in baseball in 2024 was their bullpen. Just dynamite. And you compare that again to 4.36 is what they're at this year in 17th. So they're just a tick below the average for a Major League Baseball bullpen ERA right now. And that's just not where they've been. It's one thing to be, okay, they've fallen a little bit. They're top 10 still. they're number 10 or they're number 11 or 12. Right now they're 17th. And so when you have an offense that is also a little bit, a tick below average right now, and a bullpen that isn't holding leads, that's not a good combination for winning baseball. The starting pitchers have continued to show out. They did it. Brandon Sproat was the starter today for the Milwaukee Brewers. His final tally, 5 1/3, 3 earned runs. So that means he is the first starter for the Brewers in 11 games. So last night the streak would have gotten to 11 games in a row with the starter allowing 2 earned runs or less, and DL Hall snuck in as the starter last night. So that's why that streak continued. But Sproat did give up 3 earned runs today, but he went 5 1/3, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, 4 Ks. I liked what I saw from Sproat. Could it have been better? Absolutely. But it kept you in the ball game, and it kept you in the ball game against arguably the best pitcher in baseball. So that is where this team is hurting right now. 2 places. And it's tough because it's 2 of your 3 places, right? It's offense. You can talk about offense. You can talk about bullpen. You can talk about starting rotation. You can talk about defense too. Their defense has been pretty good as of late overall. Some uncharacteristic plays here and there. But the offense has held them back at times, and their bullpen has obviously held them back at times. The tough part about today was the offense came through for you. The bottom of the order came through for the Brewers today. In that 7th inning, you had 5 hits and scored 3 runs, and 4 of those 5 were by the bottom of your order. Luis Matos, Blake Perkins, Joey Ortiz, David Hamilton, all in the mix in that 7th inning, getting that 3-run inning in there. And so that hadn't been happening. You had not been getting production from those guys. And they were, Skubal went through them like a knife through butter in the first time through the order. And you thought, oh boy, Skubal was attacking. 26 pitches, 24 strikes. Man, oh man, oh man, oh man. And you're thinking, is it going to be a no-hitter today? Then Contreras breaks it up. Then Sanchez knocks him in. 4th inning, all of a sudden he throws 28 pitches in the 4th after 26 pitches in the first 3 innings combined, and you had a shot. Unfortunately, just did not come through as they score 4 runs, but then the bullpen, unfortunately, gives it up late on 2 home runs, 1 in the 8th, 1 in the 9th, and the Tigers steal 1 back. Let's hear from the manager, Brewers manager Pat Murphy, after today's 5-4 walk-off loss to the Detroit Tigers.
Yeah, they all hurt. You just got to keep perspective. That's the biggest thing. Proud of our club, the way we battled through it and got ourselves in that position. We hit into 3 double plays. Unluckily, with runners in scoring position, and usually people that don't hit into double plays. So, yeah, it's unfortunate. We had many opportunities to blow it open. But credit the Tigers. One, they did what they needed to do. They hit homers off leverage relievers. And they, Skubal's, he's really, really good. He's really, really good. And we had some things go our way and laid down some great bunts, put pressure on him. And I'm proud of our club that we battled this way when things are going against us. And, again, everybody's aware of where our injury situation is. And it's great to see the guys go out and compete and battle every time. And, yeah, I think they can be proud of a lot of things they did today, but it didn't go our way. And you got to credit the Tigers. They kept their composure and turned those double plays and made quality pitches at quality times. And yeah, we didn't put the nail in it hit. We didn't get the big hit when we could.
How gratifying has it been to see Blake contribute the way he has in this series? He made that nice defensive play in center and then delivers that 2-run single to tie it up.
Yeah. Perk's been a big part of this for the last 2 years. You think about it. He's been a great defender and a real quality role player for us, and he's loved. He's loved by the club, and So whenever those guys come through, and he's had a tough go of it, he's hit some balls hard that's been caught, and yeah, I'm really happy to see him come through the way he did. Really happy for him.
Between the way that you guys kind of battled and strung some stuff together to come back, and then the way that they flipped the game a couple times on the homers to kind of feel like they were just two different styles of offense kind of competing against each other.
Yeah, a little bit. They didn't attempt to steal or they didn't attempt to bunt, and maybe one time, but no, they can swing the bat. They were poised, and they deserved to win.
Murph, Scooble's first 3 innings were crisp, and then what changed for you starting in the 4th? Do you think your guys had any kind of different approach to?
No, it wasn't necessarily a different approach. They had a good approach against him. He's just really, really good, and getting a couple bunts down always disturbs pitchers, and that type of thing. And he had long at bat with Perk, and threw a ball closer to where Perk can get it, and the rest is history. He did a good job. But you get 6 innings out of your starter and into the 7th with 5 hits or whatever we got off him, and 2 of them are bunt hits. That's pretty good pitching performance. He was very good.
Murph, what did you think of Sproat today?
I think Sproat was great. One of the snafus we made was in the first inning. We didn't let that ball go from Lockridge. That guy might be out at second. So that's one you got to look at. And then he gave up the homer and a breaking ball. But other than that, I thought he was outstanding. He started yanking a little bit in the 6th. And, the leadoff walk, and then however else the next guy got on. But luckily, we kept the damage down. But I think, I think he did a really nice job. It's a really step forward for him again.
What do you make of Zerpa Murph this month? March, we talked about what he did in the World Baseball Classic. And how do you think he's doing right now?
Yeah, obviously he hasn't got the results he wants. He threw the ball great today, but made a pitch to Torkelson that he was looking for and got to. So maybe he's got to put him away before that. But it was a Torkelson, yeah. No, Jones. Yeah, Jones is. They're looking for that on Zerpa, and he's got to be able to do more than that. But. Tip your hat to Jones. Tip your cap to him.
For you, Williams 3-0 in that situation on the double play ball.
Yeah, you're facing Scooble. It might be the only decent pitch you get, and I trust William. He knows what he's doing, and we'll swing 3-0 as soon as we'll swing 3-1. I get it, but he's the guy. We went up there in that time, and he had a great swing off him before that. But that's just like one of those things, Like maybe he takes a little bit off it, and William gets a little bit over it. But it hurts. It's gut wrenching, but a lot of good things happened today. So I'm thinking about the health of the club, and they know they went and competed against a number 1 and a high end number 1, and did some really good things.
No doubt. They definitely competed against a high-end number 1. They put up the 4 earned runs over 6 innings for Tarek Skubal today. I got a couple comments coming in here on YouTube. Let's get to a few of them. Charles says, I could only listen to the radio. Did it seem like those were bad pitches for the home run balls to Jahmai Jones and Spencer Torkelson in the 8th and 9th innings, or just good hitting by Detroit? That ball to Torkelson in the 9th, not great. That was a sinker, technically, 99 miles an hour, but up in the zone. That was right where he wanted it, and he put it in the seats. So not a great pitch there. Then you look at the Jahmai Jones pitch, and that was basically right down the middle. So you had 2 pitches that were not great. So that is the answer on that. Not great pitches by Angel Serpa in the 8th and Abner Uribe in the 9th. Charles also saying those double plays were absolutely killing them today. And from Terang, didn't see that one coming. Thought for sure they'd get another run. Yeah, that first pitch swinging by Bryce Terang is not necessarily what I expected to happen there. Thought he might work the count a little more. You heard also Pat Murphy, and one of the last questions in that post-game press conference was about William Contreras swinging at the 3-0 pitch and grounding into the double play. And Pat Murphy saying, yeah, I was okay with him swinging 3-0. The situation 3-0, you want Contreras. Obviously, Contreras is, there's two sides to that, right? You don't want to swing 3-0 usually, especially in a run producing situation. However, you are facing Tarek Skubal, so that's one. You don't know how many chances you're going to get, and especially if he has to come to you with a strike to not put you on base. But also, William Contreras is one of your highest producing hitters right now in driving in runs. And so I don't totally disagree with the green light there. After thinking about it in the moment, I'm like, oh, you can't do that. You can't swing 3-0 on that and ground into a double play. But thinking about how the offense had been going, thinking about how the offense is going, especially late or the back half of that lineup, I don't totally disagree with it. So Mad City Brew says, it seems like the Brewers are not focused over the last 3 weeks. Too many errors and mental breakdowns. There have been some of those. More so than we've expected from Brewers teams in the past. I think that is the big thing, right? It's more of those types of plays than in the past. However, I don't know. For right now, it just seems like just the lack of execution, and that could go along with that. But the lack of execution is what is, I think, holding them back a little bit right now. Maybe even more than a little bit on the offensive side. And then, of course, also in the bullpen. Jordan says, still a long season, boys. We got this. We do got this. Plenty of season. Brewers and Pirates coming up tomorrow night. We'll get a little more of a preview of that coming up here in a bit. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, somebody was scratched from the AAA lineup tonight that may be headed to Milwaukee. I'll tell you who that is coming up next. Maybe some offensive help. Who could that be? We'll discuss it next. You're listening to Milwaukee Baseball Tonight, presented by Import Minded, right here on Fox Sports 920. tonight rolls on, presented by Import Minded, your trusted choice for exceptional vehicle care on South 27th, just north of 894. It's our weekly get-together to talk Brewers here from 6 until 7 on Fox Sports 920 in Milwaukee, and, of course, on our YouTube, Facebook, and X pages. Don't forget, half hour away, NFL draft coverage with Bill Schmidt and Wayne Larrivee right here on Fox Sports 920. We'll also be on in Madison as well, Fox Sports 1070, and then, of course, on YouTube, Facebook, and X. If you're watching us right now, that is exactly where you will want to watch our draft coverage starting at 7 with Billy and Wayne. So that is coming up here in just a little while, so do not miss that. I mentioned before the break that there was a player that was scratched from the AAA lineup tonight that may just maybe on his way to Milwaukee to try to help this offense out in this weekend series against Pittsburgh. His name is Tyler Black. Now, you've, of course, heard the name before. He's been in the majors before. He played in just 5 games for the Major League club last year, but hit .250 at the Major League level last year. But he was scratched from the AAA lineup tonight. And, Charles, I just saw your question there on YouTube saying, is the draft coverage going to be on YouTube? Absolutely. It'll just be on a different link. So obviously you're watching it. You're watching a link right now, but you'll be able to watch the NFL draft coverage at 7:00. So just be a different link. There's a different link over there on our YouTube. If you're on the YouTube channel, you probably see it over there. So yes, we will be live. But Tyler Black, scratch from the AAA lineup tonight. So could he be on his way? Black so far in 10 games this season, .282 batting average, a home run, 6 driven in, 6 walks, 9 strikeouts, 2 stolen bases. He has 39 at-bats down in AAA for the Nashville Sounds. Now, he was out with an injury from April 6th to April 18th, but he's been back since the 19th. And so he's only played in 3 games since coming back from the injury, and he's 4 for 13 with a run driven in those 3 games. So not awful, right? Probably, if I do some mental math, which I'm not always great about, probably about a 300 batting average since he came back in those 3 games. So since he was scratched from the lineup tonight, I mean, I would think that he is most likely going to be in a Milwaukee Brewers uniform tomorrow when they take on Paul Skeens and the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now, will he be in the lineup? I'm not so sure. Counsell used to be more proactive in getting the guy in the lineup the day he came up. Pat Murphy hasn't done that as much in his tenure, I don't think, just going off of what I remember. I haven't done a study or, went back to pen and paper with it. But I do think that this is probably a situation where he comes off the bench. Now, the question is, who is going to be the corresponding move? Who is going to be sent down? I got to think it's probably Greg Jones. I mean, you just had him come up for Christian Yelich. Yelich was a lefty, and you could bring a left-handed batter up to kind of replace that in the lineup. Greg Jones, also an outfielder. Where has Tyler Black so far played in Nashville this season? 5 games in left field. That is the most he's played in any position. He's had 3 games at designated hitter, 1 game in right, 1 game at first base. So he's likely an outfielder. So I would think Greg Jones is the corresponding move for the Brewers. I don't think they're ready to probably give up on Luis Matos yet, right? They gave up something for him to get him. And I would think Greg Jones goes back down. Now, Boss Dobler says Lara or Leonard would be better bats. Yeah, I mean, that is we'll see. I mean, what Tyler Black also has major league experience, which is big there. Obviously, Lara does not. But Luis Lara is also having a fantastic start to the AAA season. And I would love to see him as well. I just think they're maybe waiting on service time there, maybe want to get him some more ABs in Nashville before he does come up to the majors. I mean, they have access to a lot of numbers and a lot of different metrics, and they know the players best. So I do trust them on that. But I think we all agree that you do have to make a move here, right? You do have to get something else to try and spark that back half of the lineup when you have Yelich, Churio, and Vaughn out. That you just, it's just, unfortunately, Greg Jones not doing well. Luis Matos, of course, hasn't been great, although he produced today. In fact, a lot of them produced today. David Hamilton had a really good series actually in Detroit, which is good. So all of that combined to say, I think they do need a little help in the back half of that lineup. And so Tyler Black would provide that if he plays well. I mean, you don't know. It's AAA compared to the majors. But again, 282 in 10 games in AAA so far this season. So interested to see what the move is tomorrow. If Tyler Black is indeed the one that's called up, again, you kind of put 2 and 2 together and say he's scratched from the AAA lineup, and it makes a lot of sense. Back of the lineup got some hits today, says Charles. Very rare, though. Yeah, exactly. Like I said, 4 of the 5 hits in the 7th inning where they scored 3 runs were by the back half of the lineup. The other one was Gary Sanchez. So it was great to see, and that's what makes today's loss even tougher, is you got production from the back half of your lineup against one of the best pitchers, if not the best pitcher in baseball, but just still lost. And that's what bites you. All right, couple things. One is, for all the people who have been complaining about the lack of small ball or bunting in recent years, this team bunts left and right. Again today, back-to-back bunts to start an inning and get on first and second. I mean, David Hamilton's like, for him to get on base, a bunt is probably the most likely way he's going to do that right now. The guy is prolific at bunting the baseball and timing him too, and putting him, and also that base hit was great too. What they do is they shift him. They have the third baseman come in to be careful of the bunt, and then they have the shortstop go close to second base, as close as he can get, because of course they have the shift rules now. But they close to second base, and then you have so much room on that left side of the infield. And that's where David Hamilton put the go-ahead single in that 7th inning when it was a go-ahead single to make it 4-3 in that 7th inning. So, but he has been prolific, so you can't complain about the lack of small ball now. They are bunting left and right. And look, that's kind of how they have to do it. They have to manufacture somehow, some way. And then the second thing that I've noticed, these are just like random things that I've picked up on, but it's fun to talk about them. Do you realize that they're kind of spoiling ABS? So, of course, when the ball hits the glove of the catcher, it doesn't, the dot doesn't show, like, it shows you whether it's in the box, so to speak, right? But that's not, I don't think it's the official box. But then they show this little replay above the scoreboard, above the little score bug in the bottom right, that has where the ball lands. And they show that before the ABS comes through. So you get a challenge and you look to the right above the score bug, and usually that'll tell you before the ABS. And I'm like, well, that's no fun. That spoils it for us. So just something to watch. Unfortunately, maybe I tipped you off to it. Now you're going to be as annoyed as I am. Anyway, don't forget NFL draft coverage coming your way at 7 o'clock. Bill Schmidt and Wayne Larrabee getting set to bring you all the first-round picks. We'll be right back with the final segment of Milwaukee Baseball Tonight, presented by Import Minded on Fox Sports 920. tonight here on Fox Sports 920 in Milwaukee. It's presented by Import Minded, your trusted choice for exceptional vehicle care on South 27th, just north of 894. We're creeping ever so closer to the NFL draft. 7 o'clock it begins. 7 o'clock begins our coverage of the NFL draft right here on Fox Sports 920, also on Fox Sports 1070 in Madison, and on YouTube. If you're watching right now on YouTube, Facebook, or X, the stream will be right there for you, and it'll just be a different link. So make sure to hop on that when we transfer over to Bill Schmidt and Wayne Larrabee. Oh, nobody covers the NFL draft better than us. So looking forward to that. But in the meantime, we got about 15 minutes or so left to talk Brewers baseball. A tough loss for them today, a walk-off home run in the 9th inning off Abner Uribe, and the Tigers take game 3 of the series, and they win the series, a 3-3 road trip for the Crew. So what is coming up next for your Milwaukee Brewers? Well, it's a series with the Pittsburgh Pirates. And the interesting part to start this series, and we've mentioned it a couple of times already, but Paul Skeens on the mound coming up tomorrow night. And that means the Brewers are facing reigning Cy Young Award winners in back-to-back games. And as you've probably heard by now, it's only happened once before. So this is only the second time in Major League Baseball history that a team is facing the reigning Cy Young Award winners in back-to-back games. Now, last year, it happened in May when the Boston Red Sox drew Tariq Skubal on a getaway day in Detroit, just like the Brewers drew Tariq Skubal today on a getaway day in Detroit. And then they came home to face Chris Sale and the Braves in Boston. And Chris Sale at the time was the reigning Cy Young Award winner. So the Red Sox were the first team last year to face the reigning Cy Young Award winners in consecutive games. This according to Adam McCalvey of MLB.com, who put a great article up. Go and read it, MLB.com. Just kind of the history of which the Brewers are entering here over these 2 days. Boston ended up losing both contests. However, they did score 5 runs off of Tariq Skubal. So they had some success, but lost against Skubal. Oh, that sounds familiar. And but anyway, the Boston Red Sox ended up losing both games. But the player that's been involved in both, the David Hamilton. So David Hamilton was involved in the 2 games that the Boston Red Sox played against reigning Cy Young Award winners last year. David Hamilton involved with the Brewers this year. Both today and tomorrow. Pat Murphy, when asked about this, this hill that the Brewers are going to have to climb over these 2 days, Pat Murphy said, quote, "It's happened once only? What a great challenge. The game is so hard to produce, to score runs and all of that. It's a hard game. So getting this opportunity, think of the upside for your team, especially with our position players out," end quote. And I think there is something to be said for that. Honestly, I really do. I think there's something to be said for getting experienced against this type of competition this early in the season, right? They were able to score 4 runs today against Skubal and the Tigers. What will they do tomorrow night against Skeens remains to be seen, but I think it's significant in the fact that the output today can give you confidence for tomorrow. I mean, 4 runs on 7 hits off Skubal in 6 innings today is pretty good. And obviously a lot of that coming late in the game. Grind down the pitcher. Brewers have had success against Paul Skeens in the past. And for a team that is, trying to find their footing offensively, I think is a good way to put it. It's obviously through the first 3 innings today, it looked like, oh boy, this could be possibly even no-hitter territory. And I know it was only 3 innings, but he used 26 pitches and 24 of them were strikes to start today. And you're thinking, okay, this is the reigning Cy Young Award winner. This is what you came for. This is what they paid tickets for in Detroit today. However, as the Brewers have done for years, they grinded at bats and they made them work. And by doing that, you then have a situation where you're facing a Cy Young Award winner that is maybe by the end of the outing a little
kind of tired, obviously, but also just kind of ground down, and if you want to put it that way, right? The Brewers have just been try to drag them, is the quote that Sal Frelick had, right? Drag the other team, drag the other pitcher. And the Brewers were doing that second time, third time through the order, and it led to runs eventually. And I imagine that is going to be the same strategy, and really is against any pitcher for the Milwaukee Brewers. That's their offensive strategy. And they've obviously proven it has worked the last couple of years, couple of division titles, NLCS last year. But that is what they will do to Paul Skeens then tomorrow. Now, they didn't do it as effectively early in the game against Scoobel today, but I think they'll continue that strategy coming up tomorrow against Skeens. I mean, the game turned fourth inning. Brewers got a couple of back-to-back doubles, but before that, Terang took Scoobel 7 pitches deep. And you need those sort of at-bats against those sort of pitchers if you want to get to them. You need to grind out those at-bats. And the Brewers are one of the best at doing that. So I think when facing back-to-back Cy Young Award winners, that strategy, that ability that the Brewers offense has helps in a day like today against Scoobel and will help tomorrow against Paul Skeens and the Pittsburgh Pirates. So looking forward to this series, mainly because it's finally the Brewers are facing an NL Central opponent. We're a month into the season almost, and no NL Central opponents. Only 2 series against NL opponents, period, the Nationals and the Marlins. You won one, got swept in the other. But this is where it counts now. Pittsburgh Pirates play tonight, so that's something to watch. Coming into tonight, they're 14-10 on the season. The game tonight is a 7:05 first pitch, so that's kind of advantageous for the Brewers. Why? Because the Pirates have to leave Texas. They're in Texas tonight for the series finale against the Texas Rangers. That's a 7:05 first pitch, and then they have to fly to Milwaukee. Basically, across the entire country, south to north, to get to Milwaukee. So that can't hurt, I wouldn't think. Paul Skeens, as I mentioned, on the mound for, of course, the Pittsburgh Pirates tomorrow. And what I'm really excited for is Brandon Woodruff facing him on the other side. You got the wily vet ace against the up-and-coming ace. Now, last year we got the spectacle that was Miz and Skeens. I mean, Miz was only a few starts into his major league career. Woodruff is just a little bit more than a few starts into his major league career. And so that's what I'm excited for tomorrow is we got Miz Skeens. Now let's get Woodruff Skeens. And I'm excited for that matchup coming up tomorrow night at American Family Field, 6:40 first pitch. Let's dig into who the Pittsburgh Pirates are. Kind of get a feel for what they will be bringing to the ballpark this weekend. When it comes to team rankings for the Pittsburgh Pirates, let's look at their offense first. Batting average, they're tied for 11th in baseball. Again, this is coming into tonight's game that starts here in not too long in Texas. But tied for 11th in batting average. Homers, they're 10th in the league, so top 10 in Major League Baseball. This is Major League Baseball rankings. They're 11th in walks, but they also have the 10th most strikeouts in baseball. Stolen bases, they are 7th, so they're top 10 in stolen bases. So the Tigers were like way bottom stolen bases, and you didn't even, did they even attempt to steal a base in the series? I should probably know off the top of my head, but I don't. But that is, so something to watch there is the Pittsburgh Pirates will be running a little more than the Detroit Tigers were. They're 7th, but again, they're 7th. They have 24 stolen bases. The Brewers have 35 stolen bases in League Baseball. And then their on-base percentage is good. The Pirates is 6th in on-base. So they're top 10 in most of the important offensive categories. In fact, I mean, they're top 11 in batting average, home runs, walks, stolen bases, and on base. The one thing, their downfall a little bit is their strikeouts. Now, going to the pitching side of things, this pitching staff for the Pittsburgh Pirates is pretty formidable. And when you have Paul Skeens leading your pitching staff, that's probably going to be pretty formidable. They are 3rd best in earned run average coming into tonight. 3rd best in earned run average as a team. That's starters, relievers, everybody. 3rd best in earned run average are the Pittsburgh Pirates. They are 7th in strikeouts, so they have the 7th most strikeouts in baseball on the pitching side. But they also have the 8th most walks. So they do walk a significant amount of players. So that's something to watch for in this series this weekend. and they are sixth best when it comes to the opponent's batting average. So, again, the pitching staff, very good. Third best overall earned run average so far this season. They come into tonight 14-10. Brewers are 13-11. So coming into tonight, they're a game behind the Pirates. Would love for Texas to take care of them tonight. And so then the Pirates would come in just a half a game ahead of the Milwaukee Brewers. Boy, that NL Central is quite something, isn't it? The Chicago Cubs, can they lose? They won 8-7 over the Phillies. The Philadelphia Phillies, and I saw Kurt Hogue of the Journal Sentinel put this out earlier today. Like all the attention's been on the New York Mets. What is happening to the Philadelphia Phillies, and why in the world has that team lost 9 in a row? I mean, this is beyond. Like the payroll of the Phillies and the payroll of the Mets. What are you doing? And it all goes back to as well, and this is the total side quest here we got going on. But the fact that, okay, look, the Dodgers are 16-8 on the season, and we all know they're crazy payroll, right? You also look at some of these other teams that have big payrolls. The Blue Jays, 10-14. Phillies have lost 9 in a row. The Mets just got done with their 12-game losing streak. It's not just about the money, and the Brewers have obviously proven that in this golden era Brewers baseball that we're in. But it's also about putting the players in the best position to succeed. Now, I think the Dodgers have gotten to that level that, like, I would be interested to see what other managers would do, like if they would be as good as Dave Roberts. Maybe not as good, but I feel like with that roster, it's close. The Mets are maybe a little step down, but the Mets go out and get Bo Bichette over the offseason. And obviously Juan Soto was not in the lineup for almost all of that losing streak, obviously. And now Lindor is going on the IL for the Mets. So I get injuries can play a part. But I think there also is something to be said for the way the front offices operate. And Friedman has done a fantastic job in LA. I mean, Matt Arnold talks about him a lot. They're good friends, and they have been kind of the class of the National League in recent years. And the Dodgers just go about it in a way where, yes, they have a lot of money. Yes, they spend money on players, but they do have some prospects coming up, but they also they are good. Good manager, good GM, good combination. So it's not just the players on the field. While I do totally think we have a money issue in baseball, like totally, I think so. However, I think it also has to do with managing. And I just, boy, the more these teams that go all in these off seasons falter, the more I look and say, I mean, it's just like any other sport, you got to have well-run organizations too. It's not just about the money. Again, I do think there's a money problem. Again, I do think it needs to be fixed. The disparity between top and bottom is way too far. But there is also the other part of that, which is you can put the money out there, but also the culture, also the way at which you play, the GM, the manager, everything like that. And it's a little surprising, too, with the Mets, because David Stearns was really good for the Milwaukee Brewers, and he has not been as good with the Mets. And you do wonder, like, if Matt Arnold, for some reason, at some point goes elsewhere, like if he goes to a bigger market, too, would he be as good with that resource, with those resources, as he has been in Milwaukee? I think also a fascinating case study, because so far David Stearns has not been as good with the Mets as he was with the Brewers. And you think to yourself, what? How? But that's just how it's been. And so I would be fascinated. I hope it never happens, because I hope Matt Arnold's here for a really long time, because he's really good. But it's another case study if Matt Arnold ever goes to a bigger market. Of course, he comes from that Rays system. And now in Milwaukee, those are two similar markets when it comes to how they have to strategize in getting their players. But I just think it's fascinating. The Phillies have lost 9 in a row, and the Cubs just played the Mets and the Phillies, and they've won 9 in a row. Really unfortunate. But again, it's April 23rd, everybody, which happens to be my dad's birthday. So happy birthday, Dad. And wanted to get that shout out in here before the end of the show. So a quick preview of the series against the Pittsburgh Pirates this weekend. As I mentioned, Brandon Woodruff on the mound tomorrow for the Crew. He's 2-0 with a 3.42 ERA. Skeens 3-1 with a 3.27 ERA. And that is coming up tomorrow. And then on Saturday, it's going to be a Saturday night game at American Family Field. It is a 6:10 first pitch. Jacob Mizorowski on the mound for the Brewers. He's 1-2 with a 3.04 ERA. And Mitch Keller on the mound for the Pittsburgh Pirates. He's been good so far, 2-1 with a 2.79 ERA. Something to watch for is that, hey, he's a righty, by the way. Jake Bauers has a 385 batting average against Mitch Keller in his career. So something to watch. He has 13 at-bats. William Contreras, 292 batting average and 24 at-bats against Mitch Keller. Even Sal Frelick, 16 at-bats, a 375 average against Mitch Keller in his career. So a few of the Brewers to watch for against Mitch Keller on Saturday night at 6:10. And then the series finale on Sunday, 1:10 first pitch. And Kyle Harrison will be on the mound for the Crew. So looking forward to this series for the Milwaukee Brewers as they face the Pittsburgh Pirates' first NL Central opponent. And looking forward to a great weekend at the ballpark. Hope to see you out there. We'll have the baseball pregame show for you a little bit shifted tomorrow. Due to our draft coverage and the Milwaukee Admirals playing tomorrow night, I'll be with you from 5 until 6 coming up tomorrow. So 5 until 6, a little earlier, 5 until 6. And then our draft coverage will start in Madison at 6 o'clock. And in Milwaukee, you'll hear the Milwaukee Admirals 6:30 pregame, 7 o'clock face-off as they try to eliminate the Manitoba Moose in the first round of the playoffs. But coming up next, right here on Fox Sports 920 in Milwaukee and also Fox Sports 1070 in Madison. Really looking forward to this. It is going to be our NFL draft coverage as the first round begins. That is coming up next. Bill Schmidt and Wade Larrabee will have you after the break. Stay tuned. This has been Milwaukee Baseball Tonight, presented by Import Minded, right here on Fox Sports 920.